Duperos y Duperas, today on Doop by the River, we're going to recap that performance, that impressive performance by your Philadelphia Union on Sunday night against FC Cincinnati, while we move on to Decision Day. MLS Decision Day as your Philadelphia Union action up in Yankee Stadium against NYCFC, and your boys are going to preview that match. And don't you dare go anywhere, guys, because you do not want to miss this episode of Doop by the River. Let's get started, guys. Dale! That is right. Welcome, everyone, to Doop by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union. We are brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Before we dive into this episode of Doop by the River, guys, do us a solid. If you're watching this live on Philly Sports Network or on Ed Barcelona YouTube channel, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. We bring you Philadelphia Union every single week here on Doop by the River. And, of course, you can find us wherever you stream podcasts. We're on PSN Radio. You can find all of your favorite Philly Sports Network podcasts on there. We're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on Spotify, you name it. Make sure you guys rate and subscribe to that for all of your Doop by the River stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we dive into this full fun-packed episode of Doop by the River, let me introduce you guys my other co-host today. Ladies and gentlemen, don't kill him tonight. My man, Zach Labasso, is rocking. It's not New York. It's not New York. Relax, guys. It is a Red Bull Salzburg. It's a Brendan Aronson. We're good, guys. Zach, what's going on, man? How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm a little chilly. I got back about an hour ago from coaching. Haven't thawed out yet. It is cold out there. I can attest. Don't go outside. And yeah, I have my Red Bull jersey on because as Union fans tonight, we need the Red Bull to take some points away from Atlanta. And like you can see it here, it's the Austrian league. All right, so we're fine. I got this from the Union Twitter account. I want to give away. Okay, so they're okay with it, which means I'm okay with it. All right, and it says Brent and it says Aronson on the back, so we're all okay with it. Okay, men's national team superstar, Union legend. It's fine. All right, don't be mad at me tonight.
Amen to that for sure. Hey, Matty Freeze is out here drinking Red Bulls on his off time, so I mean, I guess you can wear that kit for sure, my man.
I think that's more blasphemous than me actually wearing this kit right now.
That's right, man. Hey, we're all Red Bull fans. Been a big Red Bull fan since Josie days. You don't even remember the Meadowland days, man. No, I'm just totally kidding, guys. But yes, Red Bull, do it solid, at least one, right? Of course, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on back my man, Mr. Tim Lovinguth, into the pod. What's up, Tim?
Not much. I'm back, ready to go. I'm still wearing my my Jim Curtin hoodie from the weekend. It was a good time.
Have you taken it off? It off?
Oh yes, I've taken it off. I washed
I just want to make sure, dude. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you gotta get that game day off it.
I do want to know, Tim. What is your record in that hoodie?
So I think that Cincinnati game was actually the first win in the hoodie. The only other time I wore it to a Union game was the New England match back in September, the home match where Kessler hit the ball into the stands. So it didn't really have a good record, but I figured I'll bring it out for Halloween and for Cincinnati because you can't go wrong against them. Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how cozy is it?
Oh, it's so cozy. It's fuzzy. It's like fuzzy on the inside. It's like
right. It looks like it, but like obviously, like the people listening on in from the streaming podcast sites, they can't obviously see it, but YouTube can see it, and it does look pretty cozy from where all three of us
get a size bigger than you would want because they run a little small. Just so you guys.
There you go. Words of advice from Tim Lovinguth. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on in our last co-host here tonight. Please welcome Justin, soccer-specific bald man, Friedberg. Justin, what is the significance of this nickname? And welcome on in, my brother.
I mean, listen, if anyone's obvious about it, our opponents for this week don't have a soccer-specific stadium. Don't even have a regulation field. But, hey, as long as Don Garber gets his money, right? That's all that matters.
All that matters.
This is why we love Justin, man. He's always coming up with the clever goofies, as I like to say, man. It's always good stuff, man. Awesome stuff, guys. All right, obviously we're gonna get to the FC Cincinnati action. We'll look ahead at this upcoming Sunday on Decision Day against NYCFC, but we are moving forward into the Jim Curtin era. And, I always say, like, every year feels like, we're accomplishing more things. Like last year, Supporter Shield, this year, CCL semifinals. And, last year, I felt like a lot of the league started recognizing our players. This year, though, gentlemen, we've been getting some serious accolades here. So first off, I want to start off, guys, by the CCL All 11 that they came out with today. CCL put out the best starting 11 of the tournament. I kind of wanted to go off the starting 11. Two members of our Philadelphia Union made the starting 11. Starting in goal, you had Guillermo Ochoa, of course, of Club America. We saw him here in Philly and obviously in the Leg 1 in Estadio Azteca. The defenders, you have Jesus Gallardo of Monterrey, Sebastián Vegas from Monterrey as well, Richard Sanchez from Club America, who we also saw. Midfield, you have Maximilio Meza from Monterrey, Walter Montoya from Cruz Azul, Alvaro Figueroa from Club America, and of course, Jamiro Montero of our Philadelphia Union. And then your forwards, Federico Vinas from Club America. You have Rogalero. That's a tough one for sure. Funes Mori from Monterrey. And then, of course, Kasper Shabilko, Zach's favorite striker on the Philadelphia Union. Guys, 2 Union members on this starting 11, man. That's pretty impressive stuff. Zach, what do you think, man? Obviously, you have a certain opinion.
Well, okay, so obviously Kasper was the leading goal scorer, so he deserved to be in there. And I'm all for all the accolades this man's getting, because that just means that teams are going to want to buy him, which means he's not going to be on the Philadelphia Union next year, which I am all for. Get him out of here, sell him for like $3 million, and then bring in a DP forward who's gonna bag a bunch of goals. PJ, by the way, this is a Brendan Aronson Salzburg jersey, so it's all good. I don't have to burn it. It's fine. Okay, it's cool. But yeah, keep giving. They can give Kasper all the. He could win MLS MVP for all I care, and I still want him out of here. So, yeah, it's just all about the transfer fee and us getting as much money as possible.
Timmy.
Yeah, I mean, having 2 Union players on a CCL best 11, like, would you even have imagined it when we made CCL this last year? I don't think I would have. I think the semifinals was a reach, and I mean, they got there. They played pretty well against Club America in the second leg. First leg was kind of god awful down in the Azteca, and Jamiro didn't even play in that game, and he's still on best 11. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. Jamiro's been up and down this year. The last few, I would say, like month, he's really shown that he wants to win with the Union. Whether or not this is his last year, I still am leaning towards. I think this is Jamiro's last year with the Union. Just seems like he wants to go back to Europe, back home over in the Netherlands. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, I mean, Kasper's on there because he won the Golden Boot, so that's why he's there. And yeah, I'm with Zach. I think you could see that transfer fee go up. I wouldn't be surprised if some teams called.
Right. No, I wouldn't mind that. Tim, you know what's crazy too? Jamiro did miss that first leg as well. Yeah. Down in the Azteca, and still made this starting 11. The Saprissa game, the Saprissa series in general looked really good. But it is crazy to think, we really didn't get a chance to kind of reflect on it. But the fact that they made it semifinals is pretty crazy. I didn't think we'd get past Saprissa, let alone all the way to Club America. So definitely should be proud of it. Justin, man, what do you think of this little accolade for us, man?
When it got announced, the bracket for CCL, my first thought, and it was a long shot, but from what I could tell, it was, hey, you have the real possibility of making it to the semifinals because you get through Saprissa, which I figured the way that everyone was saying it was, we'll get past them. And then it was, okay, I think I wouldn't mind playing Atlanta or Alajuelense, and it's like, well, then you've got a straight shot to the semifinals. And again, every game it was, oh wow, I don't know if that's gonna happen. And the more it kept happening, it was like, oh wow. And yeah, for all we joke about, but I don't know how Jamiro's on this list. Let's be honest. He had a decent CCL. I wouldn't say it was that great that he's on the starting 11. For the Champions League. Casper, this was his tournament. I mean, I know he didn't have anything in the Club America game, but neither did anyone else because we didn't score any goals in that series.
Well, there was no other striker, but
like you didn't have any goals. So regardless of like, but yeah, in the end, I think it does well to boost the already. I thought like decently, high value of Casper's transfer value, but right now it's at 2.2.
Right.
Yeah.
So this could bump. You could get 2.5 to 3, maybe, and then maybe flip that to the Rui Diaz type striker that we talked about last week, and that I've been clamoring for the entire season. And if Jay was serious, he'll back the Brinks truck up and splash that cash.
Splash that duping money, man.
Please.
AK gave me a look. I'm not for this, but the deep dish pizza is very intriguing here.
No,
guys.
it's casserole.
I might be a little hungry,
I'm,
but
I'm not thinking a subpar player and essentially a casserole.
Nah. Yeah, give me that tomato pie all day. Give me tomato pie all day.
Listen, give me that thin crust style. I'll take that.
Okay.
You guys got to come up here sometime because I promise you, best tomato pie place you'll ever go to, right up the street from me.
Corpolis Bakery. I'm just kidding, guys. Other accolade guys. This one's a little crazier than what the first one we spoke of.
Way crazier.
Yeah, much crazier. So Andre Blake has been nominated for the IFHS Goalkeeper of the Year award. Now, I'm going to tell you who he's in the group with. This is pretty crazy. He's in a group with David De Gea, Keylor Navas, and Thibaut Courtois. What? This is crazy. Our Andre Blake is in the same sentence with those goalkeepers. That is absolutely wild. Just start off here, man. Yo, it's kind of like the reaction of hearing that. Those 4 names.
I mean, listen, we've known for a long time that Andre Blake is one of the best goalies in CONCACAF.
Amen.
There is not a discussion for this. I would say arguably, I think he's top 2. I think maybe Memo might be just above him. Andre is the clear second. Keylor Navas third, and I think Matt Turner squeaks in there at 4. And you might even have a conversation for Crépeau being in the top 5 because he's also one of the other CONCACAF nominees. This doesn't surprise me. Now, is he going to really have a logistical shot? I don't think anyone from CONCACAF really is. But hey, he's the only one. He's the only goalie nominated from a Caribbean island and one of 4 from CONCACAF. I'd say that's a pretty, for people who always said, oh, well, why doesn't Andre move on and, from the Union? Well, it seems like he's doing he's having a pretty good career and having some pretty stellar accolades, playing for the Union. So whether he moves on or not, this will not be, it'll be very clear Andre Blake is and always will be a fantastic goalie.
Hell yeah. Good question here by PJ for us, guys. If anyone knows, is this a public vote or how does the voting system
normally
work?
those are media awards.
Yeah. And it's a federation. So the acronym stands for International Federation of Football History and Statistics, which is a mouthful. So they have their whole board that'll vote for all these things. It's the same federation that gives out the Ballon d'Or
Okay.
award. So the fact that Andre is nominated as one of the top 20 goalkeepers in the world, I mean, that's a huge achievement. And like Justin said, yeah, he probably won't, come close to winning it, but just the fact that he's actually there on that list is huge for the Union, because it puts the Union name out there in world football as well.
That is pretty cool. Zach, you have anything to add to this, man? It's cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Just to get the notoriety. I mean, I know, like, usually you don't think of MLS goalkeepers being on there, and now we have 2 of them on there, which is also awesome. One of them being the U.S. men's national team #1 at this point. I mean, that's like, I think he's the #1. But to be fair to Zach Steffen, the last window he played very well. So I still think that debate's up in the air. But I think that, it's really awesome just to see a couple MLS guys get notoriety for how good they've been. Because Andre's made, like, Andre, you could probably say that Andre's saves, like, in terms of, like, his spectacular ones, are up there with, like, the best in the world over the past, like, 3 years. So, that's how I feel about it. PJ, yes, I have both the Venezia home and away kit, and I will be also getting the 3rd and the 4th kit.
Yes.
All right, now he's flexing on us.
because I have to, because they are just too pretty. And to also go with what AK Gaming said, I do not want Morata anywhere near the Philadelphia.
I really thought that would tickle your fancy.
And no. And Timo Werner's like 26 years old. Like, my man still is like,
what's going on there, real quick?
I think
Does he get minutes?
Oh yeah, he plays.
Okay.
I think that more so up our alley. Like, if we were to get an older guy, would be someone like Griezmann, Griezmann's like the guy who comes to mind because he's like best friends with KD and like that whole thing. Honestly, I wouldn't mind Griezmann. Like, he's still young enough where, like, I think he would do damage in the MLS. But he's not the guy I would go for.
That would be pretty cool to see. That would be
an insane that would be an insane transfer.
We haven't had a real dancer goal celebrator since Fafa Pico, so that's what I'm really looking forward to, guys.
Yeah.
Some nice little dance moves and at the corner post. So we'll see what happens. But gentlemen, let's move forward to the match that we witnessed on Sunday night, a little Sunday night football, as the Philadelphia Union hosted FC Cincinnati in kind of like a bittersweet moment. The last regular season game. Another regular season done at PPL Park, Town Energy, the Subaru Park, whatever you guys want to call it. But the Philadelphia Union ended the match in a 2-0 win. I'm just going to lay it out to you guys. This was a pretty dominating performance by the Philadelphia Union, pretty much dominating possession for most of the game. 11th minute, you got your first goal by the Union. A great possession, a lot good movement with the ball. Olivier Bizo shot the ball, and it looked like he was the one that made the goal, but apparently Gazak had a little bit of deflection on it. He got awarded the goal, so the Union were up early 1-0. Beginning of the second half, 53rd minute, Paxton Aronson. I literally said Brendan. Paxton Aronson, and in this moment, I was literally right next to Justin. And we were both like, oh, my God, Paxton, what are you doing? And then Paxton collects his footing, and he gets this clean shot past Vermeer to the left side of the net, and that put the Union up 2-0. Union had a couple other chances in the second half. It was clear they're just trying to get their form perfect for the playoffs, or as close to it for the playoffs, trying to keep that momentum going. They tried to put on some more goals, but they couldn't. But regardless, still a 2-0 win. Dos Setzeto for all my USMNT fans out there. And it's a win. It's 3 points. And obviously tonight we'll see if we can lock up a home playoff game. But for right now, that was a solid win there. Zach, if you want to start off here, man, what was your takeaways from this match on Sunday night?
Besides the fact that Cincinnati absolutely stinks it up like all the time, they're really bad. I think that the Union looked good. You saw that one phase of play where they looked like Barcelona out there. I'm assuming everyone knows what play
I
I'm
know
talking about. They ping the ball around like two of the players on Cincinnati for like a good 4, 5, 6 passes. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is pretty cool. Like we are absolutely just dunking on them right now. So that was cool to see. And my favorite part though about Paxton's goal was how much praise Danny Higginbottom gave to him, gave to Gazdag, because no one, like, normal people don't see that, and like people who don't like Gazdag will be like, oh, he didn't get an assist and he scored like a goal that should have been Bizo's, whatever, but he created that space for Paxton's goal, and his passing just all game was phenomenal. Just little through passes that other people on the team just never seem to see. So you can just tell he's like above it. Like, he's that guy. And I said before we started, he's going to win the MVP next season. I just have this feeling in my bones that it's going to happen. And not because only because I want to prove all the people who said Gazdag stinks wrong, because he doesn't stink. He's the best player on the team. Like, he is. He's the best player on the team.
Just a nice header opportunity in the first half. Also,
I mean,
that was tough. No, that was definitely tough.
We can't all be perfect. We can't all be perfect.
Okay, I want to ask the three of you guys a question, and I want you guys to all answer it at the same time. All right. So by the end of next year, Daniel Gazdag will be better than Emmanuel Reynoso. Yes or no?
No. I can answer that right now. No.
Justin's thinking about it.
I'm going to say yes.
I don't know.
You're going for MVP, Zach. I would hope you say yes.
I'm going to say yes.
I honestly don't have an answer. This one has me stumped.
For me, I think it depends on what the Union do this offseason. If they go out and get a DP striker that can pair well with Gazdag underneath of that DP striker, then sure. If Gazdag has like 15 assists because of the way he likes to pass and he gets tap-ins, then yeah, you could see him, possibly have better numbers than Reynoso. But Reynoso is that Argentinian playmaker that Gazdag isn't. He's still a very good player, but they're different players, I'd say.
Give me a front three of Sergio, Griezmann, and Gazdag, and that is a deadly trio.
He might be able to pull all the strings then. Yeah.
Because Griezmann can do that in between combo play type deal and also just score a bunch of goals. Sergio stretches the back line and Gazdag does the rest. I think it's who's got Ernst's number? Who's got his number? I'll call him right now.
I think what I want to see, because obviously I see the distribution ability from Gazdag, but what I want to see from him is, can he be that scoring type as well? Does he have it in him? Can he, because remember that Minnesota goal, that was beautiful, and that's like what I want to see more of him. Just not being scared to take the shot if it's there as well, but his creativity is definitely going to be big. And also, he was awarded MLS Starting 11 of the week, so that was he got recognized by the league as well.
Good.
Justin, yeah, good for sure. Justin, what did you take away from this match here?
One that, my God, at this point, I don't know if I can defend Casper much anymore because, that sitter was like, I don't know if the defender threw him off, but my God, that was Wando in the Belgium game level of miss. Like, same spot, and I'm like, oh my God. Like,
yeah, Allie got pissed off too, right?
The cackle that I let out when he missed, I was cracking up, man. I was laughing so hard, dude.
Allie was just like, what? Like, and Casper had the face of a man who just went like, man, what the hell can I do to like put this ball in the back of the net?
Yeah.
But the second thing is, as Zach said, and I've been saying it since we signed him, Gazdag is the 10 that we need. He reminds me a lot Borek Dochkow, someone who has really great distribution, isn't always going to shoot first, but can shoot it if need be. And we were discussing this before we recorded. He's got the passing tendencies of a Chaco Maidana, but with the leadership, I think, of a Barnetta.
Yeah.
And I think you saw in this game the things that I think will translate to next season. I think with a very youthful roster next season, which the kids have already shown you that they can easily ball. I mean, Jack McGlynn had an insane game.
Talk about it.
Just unreal. And if you look at the second goal, without Gazda's quick thinking on that, getting that to McGlynn, I mean, that was a very, very smart play. Getting that restart really quickly. And yeah, I mean, listen, we knew this was going to be a win. And yeah, Zach said when they started that passing sequence on the right side, like literally just passing circles, like this was the pregame warm-up drills. I was looking just like,
good point.
Like literally, I think at least for like 20 seconds, they kept the ball in the same spot in an exact triangle. And I was just like, what? like at that point, that's when the Ole chant started coming out, and I was like, it was like, listen, and you knew it was like at that point it was like, okay, let's get some more possession before we start the attack. But this, I always say it's it's Cincinnati. We weren't expecting a ton, but I mean, the Union, this is some of the best momentum they've had. Like I said, post CCL, they've had some great momentum, and it is crazy to think that they could potentially at least have one, maybe two home games if results hold out well for them.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. The passing was absolutely crazy. Made me want to start bring out the paella, watching that Union passing going on the pitch there. But Timmy, what did you take away from this match?
My biggest takeaway was Jack McGlynn, and just we've seen it in spurts, his ability to pass the ball, but you can kind of tell now, I think, that he is going to be a legitimately pushing for minutes now, starting into this playoff run and for next year. He's an 8 who can actually advance the ball forward and find that pass. Like, he can easily slip people in on goal, as we've seen now a few times. He combined really well with Gazdag, and I think if they can get some chemistry going, then you kind of think of McGlynn playing sort of in the Leon Flock role and having Flock move down to the 6, because then Flock would be more comfortable, and you have someone who can actually advance the ball forward in the attacking third and find someone.
Speaking of which,
and someone who's not going to take 60-yard long shots.
I remember saying to someone at the Minnesota game, like they were scared when he was lining up for a shot, and I said, "Don't be." And I said, "Why?" And he did what he did, and I said, yeah, if number 8 ever gets on the ball, it is never going near the net.
Yeah.
Who should be scared? The people behind the net. They should be
scared.
Yeah, but
they should be very afraid.
Can I say that Jack McGlynn must be working on volleys at practice, because his form on all the shots was perfect. He was literally both times a half inch away from putting that in the back of the net. Just unreal.
If he can start bagging some goals, then that just is a huge compliment to his game and the Union style of play. And that's why I think he's going to be pushing for minutes even into this game against New York City and in the playoffs. Jim Curtin has said as well, he's been the best player in training over the last month. He compared his passing and his left foot to Harris Medunian after the Cincinnati game. Except
cool.
Jack McGlynn actually plays defense as well. So that's
he can move.
Yeah. He can move. Yeah, and he can move. Yes, he's not a training cone. And speaking of Cincinnati and that whole passing sequence, they really should wear orange because they're just cones on the field.
They don't do much.
They don't move at all. They don't
It
move
was
at all.
just
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. When they were doing that passing thing, I was looking for Pep on the sideline. I was like, where's he at? He's got to be here because this is not normal. Looking like prime Barcelona out there.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Jack, to me, at that age, like, remember, he's only 18 years old. The vision he has on the pitch is pretty spectacular. He's a wizard out there. The way he makes his passes and the deception he likes to do too. Like, he's that smart, like faking that he's going to pass to someone, using his hips and using his eyes and passing to someone else, creating plays for other people. It's truly remarkable. He should have had that goal in like the first half. It literally missed.
Oh yeah, again that ball that was carbon copy
man.
almost of the one in the second half. The difference is he didn't volley it.
Yeah.
And to one more point, PJ's point, and Justin, we talked about it in the stands. It just doesn't feel like he knows how to shoot from distance. Either it's like this low shot that's got some speed, or it's just like a field goal,
or
right?
he's like he's trying to I think he takes too many touches because it's like he could take one touch and fire it, and like he's had some half decent shots when he takes maybe a touch, but the more touches he takes, he's just like, oh, I gotta put everything into this, so he blasts it, and then if you're behind the net, you are ducking for cover, because that's a heat-seeking missile, and it's just like, holy shit.
It's pretty impressive stuff. Seeing Harris again.
Oh man, that was that it tugged
first
at your
time back in the
heartstrings.
Sub, right? Or talent, I guess. Played in talent.
Man, that just tugged at your heartstrings. Like, after everything he did for the club, like you can't boo him. Like that Harris was just
not at all
left on such good terms too. It was like could not say a bad thing about the city, and it's clear. I mean, after the game, he switched jerseys with Paxton, which I can say that Harris put it on. It looked like a crop top on Harris. The size difference between the two, and I'm like, I think I looked at Tim. I'm just like, it's wearing a crop top right now.
That is pretty funny. It was pretty dope. This group of fans that brought the sign. I don't know if you guys saw. I think that was like section 102 or 103, something like that, on the left side. If you're at the river's end, it's on the left side. They brought a sign. It's like pretty much saying like, "We miss you, Harris," and that's kind of the impact Harris left here on Philadelphia. He wasn't a man of a lot of words, but he worked his butt off and he let his play kind of talk for it. We'll always love him here.
And I think the biggest impact, and I don't think it's spoken about enough, is the effect he had on the homegrowns, on the youth. The
Very true.
biggest thing that Brendan said was, I believe he roomed with Harris in 2019, and like he said that did a lot to help instill, because Harris, listen. Harris knew he wasn't fast. He wasn't, but he knew he had a great soccer IQ.
Yeah,
he knew how to, and he was tough on teammates, but not in a "I'm calling you out unfairly." He made sure to tell his teammates to go sit down with them and go through it. And if the young players asked for any information, he was always willing to give it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sign of a true veteran leader, is someone who understands that, the best thing you can do is to help grow the young players. And you can see Harris's impact up and down the youth of this roster. And it can't be spoken for how, for as much as Cincinnati is a tire fire, they do have some young talent. And it is key to have someone like Harris in that locker room.
No, Harris kind of even spoke about that actually after the game. He was asked a few questions about what Cincinnati can be, and he kind of brought up Albright and how like Albright's going to have this new philosophy, and like we as players like need to really buy into it, and like the youth has to play a factor, and these kind of things. He brought up his time in Philly, like, and how that all worked and came together, and that now you're seeing the Union get better year after year. He was kind of saying he was hoping that that sort of thing happens at Cincinnati. Now there's a lot of work to be done there for that, but Harris was uncharacteristically talking after the game about those kind of things, which I thought was kind of cool to see his perspective of.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, I would expect Albright is going to use Harris in the future there for what they are trying to build over Cincinnati. PJ, I think he's got something going on with Cincinnati. I think they want to keep him around and
coach here. And they ought to have him.
If
I was curious.
Yeah.
Could that be his next step in his career?
I mean,
he
would easily be able. I think that his step, and if he wanted to, like other Union players, is to be an academy coach.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what a lot of the former Union players have started to do, and I think having people like that to instruct the homegrowns to the kids that even if they don't make the Union roster, they could maybe they go to college, go to the USL roster. Like at the very least, they're going to be good players. They're going to understand the basics, and I think having someone like Harris would be a pretty good thing in the academy if he decides to want to be a coach.
Absolutely good stuff there. Before we move on to NYCFC, I wanted to say thank you, congrats or good job to the Union. That Ted Lasso stuff with Kevin Casey was priceless. Awesome. It was awesome. He did a great job. He kind of looked like him. He knew the little things that Ted Lasso says, and the moment with Jim and Ted Lasso is pretty funny as well. So thank you, Union. That was good content, as you guys always do. Gentlemen, next up, final regular season match of our 2021 campaign, and it's not an easy one. Our Philadelphia Union will be traveling up to New York, to the BX, the Bronx, going to Yankee Stadium again. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to remind you that your Philadelphia Union have yet in NYCFC's history or existence have yet to win up there in Yankee Stadium. That is still an allure there in the Union for the Union. I'm sure Jimmy Boy is letting those guys know, hey, just because it's the last regular season game, just because you're in the playoffs, we still have this thing to get this monkey off our back. We have to win in this doggone baseball stadium. All right, we got to get that monkey off our hump here. So, just a little bit of NYCFC. They are kind of hot right now. If I'm not mistaken, they're on a 5-game unbeaten streak, 3 straight wins that they've had. They haven't lost since their last.
Caveat on that, I'm gonna damper it right there. They've all been against non-playoff teams. So
true.
Let's as good as they were playing. It's the same that I like to put in that context because
and their last 2 games against teams that are currently in the playoffs right now, they drew Atlanta and lost to Red Bull. So those are the last 2 games against playoff teams that they've played there.
Although I agree with the quality of competition has not been good. Any team that gets on a roll in this league, it definitely can be contagious, and they have confidence right now. And Tati Castellanos, look, we all hate him, right? we all can make a podcast episode about how much we hate Valentin Castellanos, but the dude is on fire right now. And there's even talks of MVP with Mr. Castellanos, which is crazy to think, but that is the case. So that's what we're dealing with right now. We're just dealing. It's a team that's got confidence right now, right? And when you're talking about us not having the success in Yankee Stadium, this is definitely going to be a tougher match than we kind of anticipated. Yeah, the Union probably have the 2nd seed locked up, but this is the MLS. This is a road match in a spot that we're definitely not good. We're not usually comfortable in. So, Zachy, man, I'm gonna start with you. So, how are you feeling about this match going into Yankee Stadium again, man? Here we are.
I feel like coming off of the win against Cincinnati, I feel pretty good about the game this weekend. I'm not really scared of New York City. The field scares me more than the team.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't see any reason why they don't go up there and get 3 points and solidify their spot in the standings.
That's a good point, man. That's a good point. Tim, how you feeling about this upcoming match?
I mean, Zach kind of hit the nail on the head. It's really the field that is the biggest factor in that. Any restart is essentially like a long throw in or a corner kick. It really doesn't matter. And if there's a turnover in the middle of the field, it's pretty much a chance on goal. So, for the Union, it's limiting that and also being the team that presses better than New York City and presses them into mistakes. If you can play your game the way the Union like to play their game, no matter the formation at this point, because it's shown they can play the Christmas tree or the 4-4-2 diamond pretty well, and still press. If they can do that, then they should be able to get the 3 points. And it's sort of like a character game, right? Because you've never won there, and it's a team that is fighting for their playoff lives and is going to be in the playoffs because they made it in, thanks to their little streak right here. So, yeah, it's a character building game. If you can get the win and then you have like a 2-week layoff before the first round of the playoffs because of the international window, then you're kind of feeling good. You definitely don't want to lose this game. I know,
Right.
like, this is a really difficult place for the Union to play. They've never won there, so yeah, it's going to be rough, and there's going to be goals. There's always goals in these games because of the short field and because of the way the two teams like to play against each other. So I'd expect high scoring, but yeah, I feel confident still, though. Like Zach was saying, the Union are in good form. If Curtin gets the right players on the pitch, then I think it's going to be okay.
It's a really good point you bring up, Tim, because usually when I watch NYCFC play, it's obviously heavy possession, but I don't know what we obviously don't know what the starting 11 is going to be. We obviously don't know what tactics they're going to use on Sunday, but if they do run that 4-2-3-1 with what's his name, Maxi Morelos, why am I blanking on his name?
Yeah.
Morales, and then Castellanos. Those two guys, they have this 1-2 punch, and it's actually killed us in the past before. And then obviously, you got Medina on the one side, who actually seems like he's had a little bit of a resurgence here with NYCFC. Someone that I think we've talked about it before with Alexis and the Cooligans and Christian Polanco, but he's actually been pretty solid along with Parks and Morales, the two holding midfielders there. But I agree with you. If we play our style, impose your will, because obviously those guys, it's a typical like South America type of style that they love to play.
Yeah.
And that any little tap that you do on them, they're gonna fall and they're gonna look for those penalties or in those fouls and all that good stuff. But that's a good point you bring up there, Justin. How do you feel about going back up to Yankee Stadium, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo the same sentiment as Zach and Tim. The field scares me more than the team. Like, I understand, you play who you're scheduled against, and they've been playing well. But as Tim also noted, their last 2 games against playoff teams have been a draw and a loss. And I think the Union coming into this, again, outside of the Minnesota game, you've been on a great run of form for the last month and a half. And, the Union, ironically, this is a point in the season where they typically fall off.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've been playing this well going into the playoffs is something that we haven't seen from this team before. And it's something that gives me a bit of confidence going into a place that, one, we've never played really too well in, but also, it's on the road. And as we know, MLS road form historically across the league is poor. It's just how there's a severe, because of travel, because of just the way it's stated, there's a severe, home bias in the records. But I'm excited. It's gonna be a good game. It's decision day. All the Eastern games at 3:30, all the Western games at 6:30. That's honestly, I love decision day more than any other day in the season.
Yeah.
Very good point. PJ, I'm pretty sure we have a good amount of
from what I've heard, there's at least 30 to 40 Union fans at least going on the bus. There could be up to 50. I don't know. I've been hearing some early numbers. But yeah, there will be a decent contingent there.
It should be a cold one too. So make sure that everyone stays warm up there. AK
Yeah.
Gaming, good point. They've tried this
think
before,
The
right?
Giants or the Jets, aren't they? One of them would probably be playing at home
They
Yeah.
definitely are probably playing them at Sunday.
on a
But
Sunday.
Yeah, but
they-
neither of them are playoff teams, so I don't get why they get priority over a playoff
Well,
team.
weird
NFL.
fact about the game that for TV for broadcasting, the Union game is in New York City is gonna only be on the Yes app. The Yes network is gonna be showing the Brooklyn Nets, and people are like,
Yeah.
"You have a game that's actually worth something, and you're playing a regular season basketball game."
Yep. That's what they do.
That's
It's like-
gotta love that the team that owns the network and the team didn't give enough of a shit to put them on actual TV in their region. I'm just
Yeah.
if that isn't delicious irony, I just don't know what is.
I see. The thing is like a lot of people do complain here in Philly because they want to see us on NBC Sports Philly, and this would actually happen to us. Like if we were on at the same time as the Sixers, let's say, we would get the boot and we'd be put on an app or something. That's why I don't really mind the PHL 17 contract they got going on. It's really not bad, and we do have the option to watch it on the website now with thanks to the Philadelphia Union. So that's definitely a good point. But AK Gaming overall, the Giant Stadium is not the answer. Like Tim, Justin, and Zach have heard me enough. I'm sick and tired of watching MLS action on NFL fields.
Yeah.
It only works in Atlanta, but other than that, like I just don't need it. Like I'm sick and tired of watching yard lines. Like I shouldn't have to see the end zone in an MLS game.
Nashville's works because they actually get a decent crowd. It's the Revolution that frustrates me because Bob Kraft could spring for a soccer-specific stadium. We all know it.
For sure.
So, sir, yeah, it's really weird. Let's move on to the starting 11 and potential formation. Because now, guys, we got choices, we got options, we got a little bit of options here. So, Tim, I'll let you start off here, man. So, what do you predict being the formation and the starting lineup here?
I mean, so we didn't even talk about it in the Cincinnati game, but Corey Burke did come back. He had that 20-minute, substitute appearance. Didn't really do much. The game was over at that point anyways. We thought maybe he would be able to do something. He's just kind of getting his legs under him. At this point, I don't know if you would risk him in this game. We already know the Union are going to have a playoff game. By the end of tonight, we might know if they have a home game. Red Bull and Atlanta are tied 0-0 in the 54th minute right now. So, I'm rooting for that. But, I don't think I would start Corey Burke. I think you kind of have to keep going with what's been working, which is the Christmas tree, which I still don't like. But it's been working, and it's Jim Curtin, and it's just going to happen. Even on this small field, it's gonna be what it is. You're going to have Kasper Schmelko up top because that's just what happens. The tens is where it's interesting because Paxton has been playing his butt off. But it's Jim Curtin, and if Jamiro Montero is back from his little injury,
do we have an update at all, Tim?
I have not heard any updates. I think there's got to be a press conference probably tomorrow.
Okay.
They didn't have to do early press conferences this week because there's only one match. Breaking news. Oh, wait. Oh, no, just kidding. I was going to say Caden Clark just scored, but he's offsides. So never mind. But just so we got that going. But yeah, no. So I think if Jameer is good to go, he's going to be one of the 10s next to Gazdag. If not, you're going to see Paxton Aronson again, which I think is better than Jamiro starting at the 10. So there's that. In central midfield, Jim's going to play Brujo. As much as I want Leon Flock to be the 6, Jim's going to play Brujo. It is what it is. Ali Bedoya is going to start until he can't play anymore for the Union. That's how it's going to go. He's not going to get a rest. And he's kind of deserving of it. I mean, he's been playing his ass off as well. He's been playing really well. And on a shorter field, he won't have to run as much. So there you go. And then it's between Leon Flock and Jack McGlynn. And who you want to play there. Jim probably rolls with Flock unless McGlynn balls out again in training like he did this week. So we'll see. Backline is going to stay the same. Bizo, Glesnes, Elliott, and Wagner, and then Andre Blake in goal.
Blake.
The potential goalkeeper of the year, Andre Blake.
Yeah, one of the 20 best goalkeepers in the world.
In the world. The whole world.
So write that in with your Sharpie.
Our goalkeeper. Our goalkeeper, one
True,
of the best 20 goalkeepers in the whole world, Andre Blake.
Zach, do you agree or disagree with the formation or the formation in the lineup?
It's gonna be the Christmas tree, and I think. Listen, I hate the Christmas tree. Okay, I hate it. The only way that Christmas tree works is if Paxton is one of the 10s.
Yeah,
I think it is disgusting if Paxton is not one of the 10s. Because Paxton actually gets wide sometimes and will go at outside backs, whereas Jamiro and Gazdag are like hugging each other. They're so close. And it's just really it sucks. Like it really sucks to watch when it's those two. Because they just take up each other's space and don't do anything productive. And this is why people think Gazdag stinks, is because Jamiro's there just taking up all his area, and I hate it. I hope Jack McGlynn starts, and I hope that Paxton starts. Now, if we clinch the home bye, maybe you don't. It's a 2-week break. You probably shouldn't rest people. Get him some minutes. If it was like a week, I'd say I maybe rest some people. Give them a little more time. But, I think it will be the Christmas tree. And Casper's going to be up top, which is just nauseating at this point.
I guess I'll ask you guys this real quick. Do you think we'll continue seeing this Christmas tree throughout the playoffs?
I think it depends on the team. I think in a game like this, on a tighter field, I think playing narrow you're gonna have to. So the Christmas tree works for what the Union are going to try to do, usually on a slightly different field.
I think it really depends on the. I think it really depends on the availability of Sergio. Because if Sergio's healthy, I don't think you play the Christmas tree. I just don't think it makes any sense to do so.
This is great.
That's the only. That is the only bonus. That is it.
For our listeners only, PJ just put in our chat. It's kind of like Montero and Gazdag got caught under the mistletoe in the midfield.
That has got to be the comment of the night.
Exactly. That is exactly what it's like. Night, PJ. And somehow Casper is the mistletoe. Don't know how that works.
Oh man,
Casper is the mistletoe in this situation.
Oh, that's what you get.
It's just all bad. It's the Christmas tree is just all bad. And it was funny because when they played against Cincinnati, you heard if you were watching on TV, which if you are watching it, just really appreciate how good Danny Higginbottom is, because he really is the best commentator in MLS, like by far. He was talking about how Paxton was getting wide, and I was like, like if you're gonna play 2 10s, you can't both be like in the middle. It doesn't work. Like one of you has to get wide at certain times, and Paxton loves dribbling at people. So where do you do that at? Out wide. So. Yeah, I hope it's not. I hope it's not Jamiro. I really
this Aronson gene is great, man. Once we get this NWSL team, I heard there's a sister who's younger than
good.
Everyone said that she is the
best
of the 3.
Yeah. No way, dude. No way.
No, like it. Even Rusty, even their dad said like,
oh my god.
She like you think Paxton is a little shit being like aggressive and like they said no. the youngest, the sister is like relentless. Even Brendan said like, yeah, she pushes really, really tough.
How old is she?
I think she's gotta be like 12 or 13, I think.
All right,
Oh,
come on.
good.
We got to get
We got
rolling, guys.
time.
I need her on my team. Come on.
NWSL to Philly. Let's go.
Yeah,
Please.
please, like
Please.
now, like I need
Yes.
it.
We
It's
can't
been
let her
so
go into
long,
Gotham City,
dude.
okay? We
Yeah.
need her
Oh,
here.
dude, by the way, still the best name, like of all, like one of the
Yeah.
best names ever. It's so awesome. I
Should we
love
be
it.
called Sisterly Love FC or something like that? Like something like that's not
Ooh,
like
I'm for
Philadelphia. Yeah, I want something. Yeah, because I agree that's creative, but I can't give them credit. That's because I know it's gonna be our rival when we come to NWSL.
Dude, it
Oh.
is the best name. It is the best
Oh.
name.
It is, but regardless, let's get back to track here today. One day we'll be covering that NWSL team. But I want some predictions, guys. Justin, you can start off here, my man. What is your prediction here for Sunday's decision day match between these two?
I think it's gonna be these games with NYCFC are always very back and forth. Like there's a lot of up and down because you have two teams that I know NYCFC likes to possess the ball, but they can just as easily, with the guys they have deep in midfield with Keaton Parks and Alfredo Morales. You have two guys that can easily bring the ball up and play through balls, and you have guys in the front line that can run. I mean, it's going to test the back line. I do think in the midfield, I was going to go bold here and go a McGlynn, Leon, and Ali midfield.
Yes.
You are bold, my friend.
With the Christmas tree of Gosdyke, Paxton, and unfortunately Casper.
Let's go.
That would be a perfectly wild formation, but I'm absolutely here for it. I think NYCFC scores first. I think it's an ugly goal. But I am confident in saying that I think the Union will win 2-1. And I think I'm not going to predict who gets the winner because we all know our predictions of scoring have not come true remotely. So I'm going 2-1 Union here.
I like PJ's prediction here. The ghost of Fafa Pico comes back. Hey man, Houston's done right there in Montreal.
They're losing 2-0 to Montreal right now. Let's get Fafa out of Houston, bring it back to Philly.
Dude,
I
please.
miss Fafa. I love Fafa, man.
He was
Tim,
so good.
Did you see something he said that someone considers him a defensive winger, and I tweeted that. I said, Fafa, who considers you a defensive winger? Because certainly none of us did.
Please let me know.
Yeah.
Nah. Tim, what do you think is gonna happen?
I'm kind of with Justin. 2-1 is sticking out to me for a Union win here. And Justin doesn't like to put names on the goals. I'm going to do it because obviously.
Good God.
Tati Castellanos scores first because it's New York City and it's Tati and he's going to score. And then, I think Gazdag is going to do well with this short field. There's going to be a few quick transitions and some turnovers. He's going to kind of get on the ball and he's going to score a goal like he did in Minnesota. I think he's going to get one like that. And then your winner, of course, who else but Kasper Shabilko, because he hasn't scored in a while. Just because Zach doesn't want him to do anything.
Listen. I'm cool with it as long as it raises the transfer fee. That's it.
It would. Because it would lock the Union at the 2 seed, I'm pretty sure, if we get the win.
And you know what else? I think that we've gotten enough, like, the people who used to like Kasper, I don't think like Kasper anymore. I think we've converted everyone. I don't think there's anyone that thinks Kasper's a good striker anymore.
He's just too streaky. He's too streaky. He'll be on that good run of form where he'll get a tap in and he'll get like one good goal in that streak, and then he'll miss all the sitters. And it's
that sitter that he missed. Yeah. The sitter that man missed against Cincinnati. I laughed so hard. It was awesome.
How did that even happen, man? How does that even happen? Zach, what do you think's happened?
I also think 2-1. I'm right there.
Clean sweep, baby.
I think 2-1 as well. I think I'll predict the goals too. I'm going to go a little obscure. I think that I agree with you guys that NYCFC scores first. I think that's fair, and I think they do that. But I think the goals will come from. I think we'll score on a corner.
Okay.
From Glesnes. I think Glesnes scores on a corner.
Getting really technical here.
All right. And then I think the winner comes from Sergio Santos if he's healthy, if he plays. If he doesn't play, Corey Burke off the bench, game winner.
Yeah, I'm for it.
All right. Be a great way to come back. That'd be awesome. That'd be pretty awesome. I think we're going to win as well, guys. I think a 2-1 as well. It just kind of feels that way to be a 2-1 game.
Yeah.
But it is important, man, to just get this monkey off the back. I'm sick and tired of talking every episode that we have to preview Union up in NYCFC and talking about that we've never won at Yankee Stadium. Like, it is time. It's time for Jimmy and these boys to get this monkey off their back. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. Guys, is going to do it for another episode of Dupe by the River. If you guys are going to be out there in Yankee Stadium, please take care of yourselves. Dress warm, be safe out there, represent the club well as you guys always do, and bring back a W. Bring back a W for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, before we depart, make sure if you guys are watching this live on Philly Sports Network or on Barcelona Phillies YouTube channel, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. And, of course, this episode of Dupe by the will be on PSN Radio, and you can find that wherever you stream podcasts. From Apple, Google, and Spotify. You can find it on PSN Radio. You can find all of your favorite Philly Sports Network podcasts as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Zach Labasso with the Red Bull Salzburg jersey. We got Tim Loveguth. We got Justin Soccer-Specific Ballman. Of course, I'm in Barcelona Philly, and we're telling you guys to Dupe on. Talk to you guys next week. Go Union!